Buying a townhome in the wrong complex or location will be one of the worst financial decisions of your life. If you're thinking of upgrading from a condo to an Abbotsford townhome, you want to make sure you're working with the right real estate team or agent, and more importantly, you buy in the right complex. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a list of townhomes you want to avoid at all costs. Let's dive in. The first type of townhome you want to avoid is buying the cheapest unit on the market, and here's the reason why. If you're looking to buy a townhome right now, right here in Abbotsford, you're probably seeing a bunch of units listed for sale, but some units are probably cheaper in comparison to those others that are located in better complexes or better locations here in East Abbotsford. And here are the risks associated of buying the cheapest unit on the market. It might be managed by a crappy strata management company. The strata council might have delayed increasing the monthly strata fees or putting enough money away in the contingency reserve fund for years, meaning potential owners might be on the hook for special levies that could range from $60,000 to $100,000 per owner. I'm not making this up, folks. I was recently talking to a townhome owner here in Abbotsford. I'm not going to name the complex or location, and what happened is they've owned their townhome for 2 to 3 decades. What they've told me is recently they've had a few families that have moved in over the last year or two, and now the strata council is discussing special levies for upgrades that need to happen to the complex for the exterior of the townhomes, balconies that need to be replaced, doors, windows, and the list goes on. This was a list of projects that needed to be done according to the owners for years, and the strata council, instead of putting money aside in the contingency reserve fund, left the monthly strata fees as is. Long story short, the strata council is in the process of approving these special levies that need to be done, and if approved, each owner could be on the hook for special levies ranging from $60,000 to $100,000 per owner. And this is what the homeowner told me. There's a few young families that bought recently where they had no idea about these special levies because they were working with the wrong realtor, or they didn't take the opportunity to review the strata document. And what happens in this type of situation is if the owners aren't able to pay the special levy amount or due, the strata council will be forced to foreclose on that property, and those folks will be left without a home. The second mistake is buying a townhome that has the wrong floor plan or limited parking. Here's what I mean. If you're a young family where you have your first child and you're expecting another one, there's a very good possibility that you want to buy a townhome that has 3 rooms on the same floor. But what happens sometimes is you get a floor plan where there's only 2 bedrooms located on the main living space, and the 3rd bedroom is located in the basement. I don't know about you, but as a parent of small children myself, I wouldn't feel comfortable with my children sleeping downstairs while I slept on the floor above. Other things are the bedrooms are very small and tiny, where the 3rd bedroom feels like a small den. If you think the bedrooms are small, then they're small. The other thing is there's only 1 covered parking stall, or there's no street parking. So if you have more than 1 car, you want to make sure you buy a townhome with a double car garage. You want to make sure there's parking space in front of the garage in the driveway. The third thing is buying in a shitty location. Right now, there are certain areas within Abbotsford that are going through a transition. Here's what I mean. These are townhome complexes that are located beside homes that are 40 to 60 years old. And what's happening is a lot of developers are building brand new detached homes or multifamily construction. So this is construction that you're going to have to put up with for the next 8 to 10 years. Not only that, but there's certain areas where there are a lot of homeless folks around. And I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable living in an area where there is high homeless population. Or even worse, there are certain townhomes that are located by the choo-choo train here in Abbotsford. If you have small children, this could be waking your children up early from their naps. Number 4, ignoring the strata bylaws when it comes to how many people can live in the unit, and bylaws that limit children playing on common property and related to pets. Just recently, we were helping a young family with small children that wanted to purchase their first townhome here in Abbotsford. And one of the complexes that they liked and were interested in, the demographics for that complex were mostly retirees. One of the bylaws clearly stated that children were not to be seen playing on common property. So if you are a family with small children, you want to live in a complex that is family and kid friendly. The second thing is if you have pets like a dog, review the bylaws regarding the height, weight, and the breed. One of the things that we're educating our clients always on are these bylaws that they had no knowledge. One of the common misconceptions buyers think is that they can get a exception for their dog. And truth be told, folks, I've walked this line a lot of times. People that are trying to get exemptions for their dogs rarely get it unless there's some sort of medical issue involved. The next thing is not reviewing the strata documents. When you're buying a townhome, you're not only buying the individual unit, but you're buying a share in the strata corporation. So one of the things that you have a duty and need to go through clearly is the monthly strata minutes, the financials, the rules, the bylaws, the depreciation report, which is a financial planning tool which outlines when things are going to be replaced. So if you have a townhouse complex built in 2007 or 2008, this complex should have a depreciation report that was done in the last year or two, and they'll have an update on the condition of the roof, the exterior finishings of the complex, the vinyl membrane, the decks, and the list goes on. But it breaks everything down categorically and how much it would cost to replace that in the future. And one thing that we always do when we're helping our clients is we educate them on major special levies that are coming down the road and things that they need to put money aside for. But one thing a lot of buyers might be unaware of is a lot of realtors don't actually read or help review the strata documents for their clients. One thing they do instead is they put a statement on the contract of purchase and sale saying that buyers have been advised to review the strata documents with a professional of their choice. I don't know about you, but if I was buying a condo, townhome, or a home located in a strata complex, I would want to work with a person that has knowledge of reviewing these documents, but also experience of looking out for certain things. When we're helping buyers or investors, these are things that we help our clients with always. It doesn't matter if it's a condo or a townhome. A bonus tip, get a home inspection done. Right now, if you're looking to get a home inspection done for Abbey Townhome, it's probably going to cost you $500 to $600. But here's the reason why you want to get it done. The home inspector will look at the key components of the house related to the electrical, plumbing, structural, foundation, and the list goes on. They'll test the appliances, but they can also do an infrared scan of the home to see if there's been any hidden water leaks or moisture. And more importantly, they're also looking at things that might be a structural issue. Besides that, if you work with the right realtor and right team, the home inspector will go through the attic just to make sure there's enough insulation. We've all heard horror stories of a buyer that bought a townhome and waived their home inspection because they did a walkthrough of the property with Uncle Joe or Uncle Smith. But truth be told, folks, if Uncle Joe or Smith was a builder or developer or a contractor 20 to 30 years ago, they probably don't have the experience or knowledge or the things that a home inspector looks for. So if you want to save a lot of money and headache, get a home inspection done. And here are the main reasons why. If the home inspector identifies that, hey, appliance like the stove or fridge isn't working, or there's things that need to be replaced, you have an opportunity at that point of time, either walking away from that property before subject removal, or you can ask the sellers to make repairs or give you a credit for the things that need to be repaired that you can do once you take possession. For each buyer, what they want done is different. One thing that we do to make sure the sellers do what they end up saying they do is making an addendum, which is essentially a legal document both parties agree to. And if the sellers say they're going to make repairs and they don't make those repairs, we usually have the sellers or the buyer's lawyer doing a holdback. When you're upgrading from a condo to a townhome, these are just the bare minimum things that you want to be aware of. Not only that, but you want to pay attention to your local market conditions. That's why you need to watch my next video where I do a deep dive of the East Abbey townhome market. Drop a comment and let me know other things that you might want to avoid when looking for a townhome. If you found today's content valuable, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I'm Gary Dhindsa, and I'll see you next week.